Oh hey, want to talk about guns?
The Constitution is a pretty silly document. Within its texts, there are many civil liberties granted to the good American people, one of my favorite being the right to gun. If you went to a crowded movie theater and shouted Second Amendment, you'd probably cause more damage than an actual fire. Ratified in 1791, the Second Amendment comprises just one of the basic civil liberties presented in the Bill of Rights. The Second Amendment itself is pretty basic. A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Now comes the fun part. There are two main interpretations currently, yay and nay. Let's start with yay. Those who think the Second Amendment is pretty rad are typically more conservative politically. In favor of little to no restrictions, supporters of this interpretation believe that the potential benefit of owning a gun outweigh the potential risks. Rifles at Walmart? The way God intended. There are two major issues with this stance, however. Number one, these words. And secondly, guns have changed over the years. When the Founding Fathers wrote the Constitution, guns looked like this and only shot one bullet, and that bullet went wherever the heck it wanted to, not where you actually aimed. Nowadays, guns can do this. This is a significant improvement in technology. Those who argue these reasons are firmly in the nay category. Typically more liberal, these folks decided that the words well-regulated probably were important. Downsides to this stance do exist, however. A. Who has the guns? And B. Proponents of this side don't usually know much about guns. So when they attempt to make arguments about gun control, they can be easily countered with an irrelevant critique. Gun control is firmly a state power, which is boring. Here's a map because I'm lazy. Each state has different limits and regulations on guns, ranging from California to Texas. Far more interesting, in my opinion, is the federal government's attempts to dictate gun control. Congress's main form of gun control is tracking and taxing guns through the Interstate Commerce Clause. Most legislation regarding gun control before 1986 adhered to this principle. Notably, this means Congress can't directly ban or prohibit guns, but that hasn't stopped them from trying. The Gun-Free School Zone Act of 1990 banned the knowing possession of a firearm within a school zone. This was handily struck down by the Supreme Court case US v. Lopez because Congress tried to argue that having a gun in a school zone affects interstate commerce. I don't care what political side you belong to, you gotta respect their creativity for that one. The Supreme Court itself seems more fixated in making sure yay is the upheld interpretation. In 2008, District of Columbia v. Heller ruled that a well-regulated militia and the right to bear arms were inherently unconnected. Later in 2010, McDonald v. Chicago ruled that states and cities couldn't flat-out ban firearms, applying the Second Amendment nationwide via the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment. Most recently in 2016, Caetano v. Massachusetts further ruled that the Second Amendment extends to all types of guns and reasonably gun-like tools, even to those that did not exist in 1791. So apparently, those problems with interpretation A I mentioned earlier don't actually exist. Lucky us. In summary,
for his neutral special, he wields a gun.